Good, thank you. So, who are the people with the new faces?
Well, I did get plastic surgery.
What did you do with the old faces? You know where you take your dog if he gets his tail cut off? Take him to a retail store.
I was gonna say take him to a tailor.
So what do you do with the old face? You've got a new face. What do you do with the old one? Nice to have you. What's your name? Yeah, Ren? Ah, and you, sir? I forgot, I didn't hear your name.
Taylor.
Taylor, Ethan, and Jen.
Jen's third time up.
And this is, you guys are newlyweds? Hey. May you live long and prosper. Together. Okay, we're going to talk about escaping from Stockholm. What does that mean? Probably some of you have figured that out. What does that mean? What do you think, Govinda Madhava?
Stockholm syndrome.
Yeah. Where's your wife?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't even see you. I was thinking that maybe he got out of the house without you. But that was wishful thinking. I can't pass it up.
No.
Stockholm syndrome. So does anybody here not know what that means? Show of hands. Okay, Stockholm syndrome is a real thing. It's like, it was taken from an actual event, but it happens a lot. Happens many, many times. I don't remember the exact event, but there were some people held hostage for a long time in Stockholm many, many years ago. And an interesting thing was discovered that after a certain amount of time, the captors started to identify with, the captives started to identify on a personal level with their captors. Now, this has happened. You guys are too young to. Did you ever hear of Patricia Hearst?
Yes.
Huh?
Yes.
Okay. Similar thing happened to her. This happens a lot. So you're held captive. And it's really horrible. Typically, when somebody holds you hostage, it's not a pleasant thing. So in the midst of all the suffering, you're uncomfortable. Sometimes you're all tied up or whatever. It's generally not nice. They give you some nice pleasure. They'll bring you something to eat. All of a sudden, they'll bring you some nice, cool water. See, they'll do nice things for you. And you think, I see that you actually have a good side. And so I start to identify with only the good. And because I depend on you for whatever good that I'm going to experience, because I'm your captive, I'm not seeing all the bad stuff anymore. I'm just seeing that I suffer for a day after day. Then you give me some really good treatment. So I'm identifying with you as my friend. You see, this is actually very, very common. You can read up on it. So it's a psychological response to being held captive. Very common. It might even happen to you. You don't know. People with Stockholm syndrome form a psychological connection with their captors and begin sympathizing with them. Wow, you're the one that's feeding me right now. You're the best friend I have in the world right now and here, right this time and place and circumstance. I depend on you. So I'm starting to look past all the suffering that I can't go out of this room tied up or whatever. In addition to the original kidnapper hostage situation, Stockholm syndrome now includes other types of traumas in which there's a bond between the abuser and the person being abused. This also happens in situations where children may be in their family, they may be abused somehow or other. The manipulation of the mind, and they don't see it as bad as anyone else would see it because of the psychological connection they've made with the one who is punishing them or torturing or captive, keeping you captive. So I'm going to read some things that my spiritual master says about this. This is very similar to what has happened pretty much to all of us in this material world. We're all being held hostage here. We're in the prison of a material world. Now, we came here on our own free will. And you may think of it as your journey. And yeah, it is your journey. But you're caught here in this particular time, place, and circumstance. And like Krishna, don't touch me. And so you're suffering being in this material world. You may say, but I'm not suffering. Why, I'm just the happiest guy in the world. Things are going great for me. But this is a place of disease. This material world is full of disease. If you escape disease, and if you work out, take good care of yourself, and eat properly, then you can expect the reward of old age. It's not a good bargain. And then after that, you don't have to worry. Old age won't linger forever. You will be forced out of this body. The body will stop. It will not be a good place for you, the soul, to stay any longer. And you'll leave. But that's not so bad because you'll get another body in another species, in another time, in another place. And so you can keep on doing this as long as you want. You're in this prison of, as Prabhupada called it, birth, death, disease, and old age. Now, you may think, hey, time out here. I don't want to talk about the negative stuff. Why can't we talk about the good, the positive stuff? Why, my candidate might win the election. I could get a raise. I could do this. I'm hoping for things to happen. I'd rather focus on the positive things in this material world rather than think about the negatives. Disease and old age and death. I don't want to think about it. I'm not saying that you should get all sad and start to cry about it. Just understand that you are in this prison. And even if you die, you can't get out. Death is not an escape. You can leave this body. Don't worry. You'll be issued another one according to your desires at the time of death, according to your karma. Maybe you've been such a fabulous person and you'll give the body of a great demigod or something. Maybe you'll come back to this earthly planet and be a human being. Maybe you'll go down into animal species, lower forms of life. Who knows? You know how many planets are out there, don't you? It's a big place. There's 8,400,000 species of life for you to choose. Now you may say, well, I don't want to choose, but you already have. You've every thought which leads to an action, which leads to a reaction, everything, all of these reactions that you have done in this life and all of your previous lives is writing the story of your next life. That's fair. So, would you like a crude example? It's crude. Is it okay?
Yes,
Do I have your
yes.
permission to give a crude example? Let's say that, now this probably doesn't apply to you or anybody you've ever met or even thought about meeting, but what if your chief desire, your main desire, was sexual satisfaction? Huh? Does that shoe fit anybody? You don't have to hold your hand up. Or maybe you know people that are driven by sex desire. So if that's true, and I'm not judging. I'm not the judge. There are judges, but I'm not one of them. So the human body is not a good body for someone who's driven by sex desire. It's not. Why? Because sex is a lot complicated for a human being, right? I mean, we all know that, right? It's not, it's complicated. It's going to be complicated all of your life. But it's not very complicated for a dog. Dogs don't have to get a room. He doesn't have to take her to dinner. He doesn't have to buy her a ring. All he has to do is do. And so, pigeon, the pigeon can actually have sex. This is scientifically proven once every 15 minutes. My God. So if you're driven by sex life, the human body is not. Pigeon is much better. You know? I mean, can you see the pigeon taking his date out to a restaurant in the top of a tree someplace? You know, no, it doesn't happen like that. Dogs don't do it like that. Nobody does it like that except human beings. It has to be consensual. It has to be this. It has to be that. He or she has to have the right sign. Then there's money involved. Religious beliefs. I mean, it's just all of this, you know. You know how I'm preaching to the choir here. You know what I'm talking about. So, but it's already set. Pretty much. It's going to be difficult materially to change that body that you have built in your consciousness. And it's waiting for you after you leave this one. That's not such a sad thing because you're eternal. You are the living force behind the body. It's not sad. You don't change. You, the soul, are unchangeable. You cannot be killed. Never was there a time when you did not exist. Never will there be a time when you'll cease to be. You got nothing to worry about. Except taking that next body. What will it be? Where? What are the circumstances going to be? Are you going to be in maybe you'll find a nice place in your next life as a human being to live. Really beautiful place with forests and mountains. And it's a safe and wonderful, delightful place that everybody loves. like maybe Asheville, North Carolina, which has always been one of my favorite places in the whole world. And now it's washed away. What's the name of that town that Dear loved? Marshall, gone. Whole town, gone. There's several little towns along that the mountains there. They're gone. There used to be a town there a few days ago, but it's gone. So, is this a real strange happening, or do things like this happen from time to time in our good old material world? We have all these challenges. We've got basically three kinds of miseries that we have to deal with. So, what are those threefold miseries? Give me one.
Adhyatmika klesh from the mind.
Adhyatmika klesh. Klesha means trouble, something that gives you trouble. Adhyatmika is troubles of the mind. Adhidaivika klesh. That's troubles from the demigods, acts of God, storms, floods, tsunamis. And then there's one more, Adhibodhika klesh. Adhibodhika, troubles from other living entities. Mosquitoes, flies, snakes, scorpions, people. Sometimes I think I'd rather deal with a snake than deal with a people, right? Anybody agree? It's like Prabhupada says, snakes can be conquered much easier. So there's actually some mantras and some herbs. In India, they do that. If someone calls we call them snake charmers. I forget the name that they have for them in India. But sometimes you may find a poisonous snake in your house. And so you call the snake guy. And he comes and he has these mantras that he chants. He gives the snake some herbs or something. The snake becomes peaceful and he takes him away and lets him go somewhere else. It's not that easy when you're dealing with a person, is it? So you can see there's miseries in this material world that just come with being here. If you're here, you've got those threefold miseries. And so I know I'm making this world sound like a rotten place, right? That's kind of a buzzkill, isn't it? You guys came here to have a good time.
Yeah.
This old man is sitting there telling me how bad things are, you know. Gee whiz, I came here to be happy. And so, but I'm telling the truth, right? As a matter of fact, I am tremendously understating the difficulties of this material world, this adhyatmika klesh. How much difficulty do you get from your mind? How many times have you thought that someone was a really sweet, lovable person and they turned out to be a jerk? Has that ever happened to anybody? Or sometimes you may think that someone is a real jerk and they turn out to be a sweet, lovable person. Your mind misleads you. I know mine does from time to time. I have to keep my mind on a leash and walk it like a dog. I don't let it walk me. I walk it. So that's the difficulty that we have. So we're like in this prison of birth and death, and disease and old age. You're thinking, isn't he going to, where's the fun stuff, right? Isn't there good news at the end of this? And so you're in this prison and you can't even get out by dying. And yet, in reality, this is just your illusion. There are no fences. You can check, there's no handcuffs. You came here on your own free will, and you can leave anytime you want to on your own free will. You can escape. You can just walk out. There is no door. You don't have to pick a lock or anything. But it's this Stockholm syndrome that's going on in your mind that keeps you prisoner here. Because there's some things that you think about this world that are just so nice, right? I mean, this is so great. And I know that my situation right now today may not be the best, but I'll tell you what, if I get this job that I'm trying to get, and it's got this big paycheck that comes with it, man, then happiness is going to roll in. Isn't that right? So there's always hope, isn't there? As a matter of fact, people tell you, just have faith. Just hang on to hope. Does that make any sense? Who agrees? How does it make sense? This is part of the illusion that's being handed to you. What good is hope? You know, you're old and you're dying. Yes, but I'm hoping. I have hope. I have hope that this will be or that will be. Hope isn't any good. What about faith? How good, how valuable is faith? We've been told it all our life. Faith, hope. What's that song? Faith, hope, and charity. I don't remember what that's from. But faith is only good if it gives you something. You have faith in something. If you have faith that you're going to win the lottery when you buy a ticket, and then they draw the number and it wasn't your number, your faith was wasted. It was just plain silly. If you have faith that you're going to win the lottery when you buy your ticket and you win, then now your faith has turned into knowledge. Faith is supposed to take you to knowing. I have faith that you're going to be a good friend. In time, I'll know. That just to have faith, decade after decade, that's like blind faith. Does anybody remember that old rock and roll group, Blind Faith? Oh boy, what a young group. You do, don't you? Yeah. Not that you're old. I mean, he's really only 25. But it's been a hard 25 years. So, hope. Hoping and hoping. Hope. What do they call it? Hope against hope. They have all this garbage talk, you know. No, hope is no good unless I get what I'm hoping for, right? Hope in and of itself is just something that's going on in my mind. Faith is a mental thing. I just really have faith that I'll get what I want. So here I am in this material world, and I'm hoping, and I have faith that things are going to get better. And then the storms come and wash away my town. You see, that's called karma. If that happens to me, that was my karma. Where did I get the karma? From my actions. Why did I do those actions? Because I had desires to do certain things. So you gotta, how's that saying go? You gotta pay to play. You see, you don't get held harmless. For every action, there's an equivalent and opposite reaction, according to science. Sir Isaac Newton. In the Bible, it says, as ye sow, so shall ye reap. Does that kind of sound like karma? That's karma. All your life you've been told what goes around comes around. That's karma. So whatever's coming around, you sent it around. It's like there's a class that I gave a few years ago. called dodging bullets. You're dodging bullets. And you're doing this all the time until you realize, hey, I'm the one that's firing the gun. I'm dodging all these bullets, but I shot the pistol. It's coming at me, you see. So, when's he going to get to the good part, right? I mean, this is looking pretty rotten so far. I think probably they're not even going to want to eat when it comes to. I just want to get out of this place. Guy's sitting there telling me how bad everything is, and it's true. But can't we pretend that it's all rosy? There's this whole thing that's going on now called, what do they call it? Spiritual, was it? Huh?
Spiritual bypass.
Spiritual bypassing. You know, it's all good. It's all positive. He's good, she's good, everybody's good. It's all good. Storm that washed away the towns in North Carolina. That's good. It's okay. No, come on. Let's deal with reality. This material world is not a good place, but you've started to believe that it is. You're actually you find like little tiny specks of gold, and you think this is a place of wealth. Stockholm syndrome. The material energy will give you some sense gratification. And it's going to give you suffering, right? I mean, there is suffering in this world. I'm not trying to sound like a buzzkill here, but it's true. But it gives you enough enjoyment. And since you've had some enjoyment, you know there is enjoyment, you have faith and hope that it will get better someday, right? So that's the nature of this prison. Just think of how magnificent Krishna is. Just think of how magnificent Maya is. Maya is illusion, the illusory energy. This is such a perfect prison. You don't even know it is a prison. Can you imagine if they could do that? If they could have a prison? Let's say there's a bunch of people living out in the desert. What's your name? Kearney? Is that the name there? No offense to Kearney. He's from Kearney, a little town out in Arizona. What if we had a bunch of people living in Kearney? And it's a prison. You know, they're all thieves and dacoits and murderers and everything. And they're living in Kearney. He grew up there. But they don't even know that they're in prison. There's no fence. There are no guards. Why do you stay in this place? Well, because it's terrible, yeah. But once in a while, we get something really good. See, this is the Stockholm syndrome. This is real. So this is happening to all of us. And you don't have to worry when you get that body of a hog or a dog. You're not going to be thinking, oh man, I wish I was a human again. No, Krishna is so kind that he'll give you a particular set of senses, particular nose, particular kind of eye, particular taste. Your taste will be in a particular way, and it'll be the eye and the nose and the ear and the tongue of a dog, and you'll be attracted to what attracts dogs. But you're going to have the same prison. You're going to be looking for your next meal, place to sleep, another dog to mate with. You're going to be searching for these things, but you're going to be looking, instead of looking for some beautiful girl or a handsome guy that works out, you're going to be looking for a dog, female, male, whatever. because you've got that particular set of senses, you also get a particular set of sense objects. Why, the dog will eat, you've got a dog, right? I'll bet your dog would eat just about anything.
Pretty much.
Pretty much. I mean, really, you've got to watch out. I mean, there's certain things that dogs can't eat that people always fed dogs. But he'll eat anything, you know. So, so he's got that particular set. So you would look at some of the things that your dog eats and you'd think, ew, don't eat that. Because your sense objects and your senses are for a human being. So what if I'm a hog? In India, especially in Vrindavan, there's a lot of hogs in Vrindavan, and they're fond of eating a particular food. Does anybody know what they like to eat? Stool, body waste. They love it. I mean, to them, this is a treat. This is like, dark chocolate. What are the... I don't know. Things that, it's like there's many things that attract human beings, but they don't attract the hogs. And many things that attract the hogs, but they don't attract human beings. You see? So, but if you're in the body of a hog, you're not suffering when you're eating that excrement, are you? You're thinking, this is really good. Hey, Bob, look at this. I just found a pile of stool, and it's just the best stool I've had in weeks. So ignorance can be bliss, right? So is it all right with you that if you get the body of a hog and you're eating stool, but you like it, is that all right? Is it okay if you like it? Has anyone in here ever been a carnivore? Have you ever eaten meat? You liked it, didn't you? Yeah, you were honest. It's a good crew. But then you got knowledge, didn't you? And all of a sudden, your perception changed. Why? How many people in this room have had a complete change of perception on what is good food and what is not good food? All of us. Then you look back and you think of the critters that you used to eat. And it's not like, oh, but it was bliss. You're like, oh, God, I actually ate it and I liked it. But now I have knowledge. I understand. So even in this lifetime, your sensory perception has changed. Now, as far as food anyway, you have different sense objects that you're attracted to, don't you? You see how this works? So you don't even have to change bodies to change that perception. So getting back to this prison that we're in, how do we get out of this place? Well, we don't really want to. If you wanted to, you could walk right out the door. But you're attracted and attached. You're attached because there's always hope. There's always faith. You see, things are always going to get better. And sometimes they do for a while, but then they're not for a while. So you can stay here as long as you want. You can stay here for eternity. You don't have to leave. Or you can leave anytime you want to. So how do we do that? When's he going to get to how do I get out of this place? All right, I'm convinced that I'm in prison. How do I get out? You could bribe the guards. No, you can't bribe them. It's hard to get a laugh out of this group, you know what I mean? So, the Russians have much better senses of humor than this group. It's funny when giving class sometimes, I've got an interpreter, that's interpreting English into Russian. And I think I'll say something really cute, get a laugh, loosen them up. So you say something funny. And my interpreter, I've got the best interpreter in the world. She's become the most popular interpreter in Mayapur. So she'll interpret and then nobody laughs. Why didn't they laugh? Did you say it right? Yes, I told it. As you said, I told it. Why didn't they laugh? It's not funny. I just told it last week in America and they laughed like everything. Brother Dave, it's not funny. And then sometimes I say something serious and then the whole room is laughing.
Different sense perception.
They have different sense perception. I'm thinking, man, this is funny stuff. Yeah, this works all over North America. So, so how do we get out of this prison? So Prabhupada was talking here. He was on morning walk one time, and he's talking about the fish has got enough food within the ocean. God has provided, but still he will capture that tackle, the fishing tackle, and a little something for taste. There's plenty of food. But yet when there's that hook with some what he perceives as even tastier food, he'll go for it. So out of that sense desire, wow, I'd like to have something. What are the four activities of every living entity in this material world? We all have the same activities. Everything has to eat. Everything has to sleep. Everything has a craving to mate. Once you get a place to sleep and someone to sleep with, and you've finished your meal or you're about to start your meal, you got to defend it because somebody or something might want it. You see? So eating, sleeping, mating, and defending are the activities of all living entities. No matter where you go in this material body or in this material world or what body you have, you're still going to be doing those things. You're going to be driven by those things. So the fish, he's driven by his tongue. And so when he smells in the water, I don't know how that works, but the fish can smell. Maybe it works through their taste. They see this worm on a hook or whatever, and they go for it. And they're finished. They're pulled out and they're food for someone else. So your senses attract you. Your senses are what's holding you prisoner in this material world. Your desires. And sometimes you have some really good sense gratification. The rest of the time, you're just seeking gratification. Does that make any sense?
Yeah.
So, there's also there's another example, like the big powerful elephant. This is still done today. They want to catch an elephant. They get a female elephant in heat and they put her in a ditch. And so the male elephant, he smells. The fish is attracted by his tongue. Male elephant, he's attracted by what he smells. So he goes and he's driven by this sex desire and he climbs into the ditch to have couplement with this female elephant. And he can't get out. He's prisoner. Then they tie him and do whatever they do what would you do with an elephant? I don't know, but they do it. Because there's plenty of elephants in India. And so sometimes they have to go out and catch one, to to do whatever it is they want elephants to do. So, other people are another thing that was done. I don't know if they still do it, but in the past, deer, certain kinds of deer and elk are attracted by sound. So the hunters would go into the forest and they would play real sweet sounds, flute. And the deers are like, oh, what is that? So here they come. They're attracted by it. And when they get close enough, hunter goes. So we're held prisoner by our desires in this material world. We're hoping, we're hankering for some gratification. Isn't it? We all do that. Or am I the only one? We're all wanting some gratification. See, the whole point of yoga is to become equipositioned, satisfied. It's the hardest thing in this material world to achieve, satisfaction. You may get it, but then the desire to be satisfied will come back. So we're always hankering and lamenting. I'm hankering for what I don't have, and I'm lamenting because I couldn't get it. Or I got this and this and this, but I'm lamenting that I didn't get that and that and that. I mean, this is just the way it goes. So, how do we break out of this? Let me read a couple of verses from Bhagavad Gita. Does anybody here not have a Bhagavad Gita? Because we're going to give you one for free. Anybody? Do you have? Does anybody not? All right, good. Because all of this is in Bhagavad Gita. I'm not making this up. I know she's thinking I'm making this up as I go. So, Bhagavad Gita, chapter 7, text 13. Deluded by the three modes, goodness, passion, and ignorance, the whole world does not know me, Krishna, God, who am above the modes and inexhaustible. What are the three modes?
Mode of passion,
Passion,
mode of ignorance, and mode of goodness.
exactly. So we're either, and if you think about this, if you become very expert, you can tell when you're leaving the mode of goodness into the mode of passion. When you get into the mode of passion, it's not that easy to realize when you're going into ignorance. See? But when you're in the mode of goodness, you see things through a good eye, you know? Then you get desires. I want this, or I want that. It's time to make my hope and my faith work for me because I want the object of my desires. Wow, I just slipped into the mode of passion because I have intense desire. I want it. You know, and I've been listening to Tony Robbins, and he's telling me that I can get it if I want it. So Tony makes me want it even more. He got it. She got it. Why not me?
Want it.
You know, I've got to change. You know, the guy that's selling you some multi-level marketing scheme, he creates a desire. I want to be rich. I want to be rich and not have to work for it. Now you're in the mode of passion. When you're in the modes, your decision-making process is altered. It doesn't work as well as when you're in the mode of goodness. When you're in the mode of passion, it's much easier for you to become agitated because it's not working for you, you know? Angry, lust, greed. Sure, I got what I wanted, but it wasn't enough. I want to find somebody better than Tony Robbins. I know some of you may be offended if I said that there is somebody better than Tony. No. So, yeah, the modes of material nature are holding you in invisible handcuffs. and you're bouncing back and forth. Good, passionate, ignorant. How do I get ignorant? After a long day of chasing my hopes and my dreams, now I'm tired and I need to rest a little bit. What do you say we go to the sports bar and throw back some beers and watch what's the name of the football team here?
I'm not sure.
You don't know sport. U of A.
Bobcats.
Bobcats. Yeah.
Bobcats.
Yeah. Do they have televised Bobcats? Sure they do. They have televised. So, let's go throw back some beers and maybe even a few tequilas, watch the Bobcats, because I got $50 on the Bobcats. See what I mean? And this is fun, because I'm going to get ignorant as hell. God. Last time I was here, that stupid bartender took away my car keys. Said I was intoxicated. I showed him, though. I punched him in the face. And then some really nice people took me and gave me a free room for the night. This is the world of illusion. So I'm suffering and I need relief, so I go suffer. I go find a place that has even deeper suffering. So in the next verse, the 14th verse, Krishna says, this divine energy of mine, consisting of the three modes of material nature, is difficult to overcome. But those who have surrendered unto me can easily cross beyond it. Krishna says, if you just give up your desires, become my friend, become my servant, become my lover, then I'll get you out of the world of illusion. You'll no longer see the illusion as reality. You'll discover reality. And you can walk right out of Stockholm. You can walk right out. As a matter of fact, you can leave, but you can stay here. That's called liberation. You don't have to die. Most religions say that if you practice this religious practice, then at the time of death, you'll see if it works. Right? If you die and you wake up in heaven, it worked. See? We don't say that. No. Liberation belongs to you. We're not giving you something that you have to go earn. You already have it. You're an illusion. You're thinking you can't leave this world. You're letting the material modes play with you. They're leading you around like you're their little dog and holding out hope and faith. Here, stand up, boy. I'll give you, stand up. Now bark for me. Bark, bark. Okay, here's your treat. You see? Because of our desires. Change your desires. Want Krishna. That's all you got to do. That's it. Want Krishna. How do I want Krishna? I never met the guy. How do I know I like him? Read Bhagavad Gita. Read. Find out about this guy. He's the most interesting entity that in existence is the source of love, the source of beauty, the source of peace, friendship, whatever it is you're looking for. It comes from the source of all sources. That is God. When you get on a first name basis with him, he has unlimited names, but a very affectionate name that he has is Krishna. You call God Krishna when you want to be informal. In other words, if you see, and Krishna says, this Krishna that you see, this is my original position. This is my original form. Now, I have unlimited personalities and unlimited names. But if you want to really get close with me, you've got to let go of the God thing. You're going to let that go, because how can you be in love with the Supreme? Huh? That's scary, especially if you don't know anything about this entity. We know that this entity is all powerful and all knowing. That's pretty damn scary, isn't it? I don't know about you, but if I don't know enough about him, I don't want to get anywhere near. I will just say, instead of this personality, I think I'm just going to worship the universe or something else, or some merging or something. I'm looking for something else, because if this entity has a personality, it's a supreme personality, and that is scary. And if that doesn't scare you, you're just cuckoo. So we need to get to know this beautiful, loving entity. We need to find out about this personality. And if I learn just a teeny, tiny bit, I immediately becomes all attractive. Doesn't it work that way? It's worked that way. I've been doing this for over 50 years. And I'm telling you, it's always worked that way. As soon as you get a little taste of what this guy Krishna's like, you become attracted. Before you know it, you're falling in love. It's a slippery slope. And you're leaving the material energy behind. You can be here and be liberated. And the people who do that are called yogis. Not just somebody who teaches yoga. You could call them a yogi. It's someone who's realized that word yoga is a Sanskrit word, and it actually means to link with the Supreme. Not to link with the universe, to link with the Supreme Personality in love. Which, if you're honest with yourself and me, that's really all you want, isn't it? You just want love, real love. So I'm going to pause right now and ask, are there any questions, comments, or criticisms? Anybody?
No questions.
I'm going to sit here until somebody asks a question. Go ahead. Omar.
Thank you for the question. If we had the opportunity to leave our body and go to Krishna, like if you had that option, like, would you take it, or would you live out your life until you die naturally? Like if you had the ability to choose to go to God, what would you do?
I learned a long time ago that I'm not pulling the strings. I've had all these desires, and they've taken me through 8,400,000 species of life for billions and billions of lifetimes. So I found that it's best for me to find out what he wants. If he wants me to stay here, like right now, he won't let me leave America. And so I was really upset that for the first time I went to India was in 1976. I have never had difficulty getting a visa. And so all of a sudden I'm thinking, if this is what you want, then all right, I'm going to do my service, which is give the absolute truth to people that I meet, no matter where I am, if I'm in West Bengal or here. So I don't know what his plan is, but I want his plan. So I don't know. I know his plan's always the best. It didn't take me 50 years to learn that. So, but good question. Yeah.
What would you excuse me, what would you recommend when you are sliding into the modes of passion or ignorance to get back into the mode of service?
This is a perfect question. The problem is, when do you know? You've got to train yourself to know when you're leaving goodness and into passion. You got to be your own best friend. You see, and you've got to say, wait a minute. Oh, hold on. I feel some anger. What's that? Stupid Indian embassy. They're not going to give me a visa. I went to India for 76 since 1976, and you're going to give me oops, hold it. Put on the brakes. You're getting in the mode of passion. Next thing you know, you're going to be angry. You know, you're not going to be thinking clearly. You need to back up, get back into the mode of goodness so that you can think this out clearly. What do I do? Wow. Okay, class is over.
Would you say that chanting Maha Mantra is the fastest way to get us back in alignment with mode of goodness, or is there something else?
We need to get out of the modes. The mode of goodness sounds like the best mode, but it's still a material mode, because when I get into the mode of goodness, I might start becoming artificially proud of myself. Well, I'm a really good guy, you know. I'm going to do something good. So I do something good. I build a hospital. And I put my name on it. You've seen that. That happens all over. People they give money, build hospitals, their name is on it. It's good for business. That's mode of passion. I'm doing things for some result. But if I don't get enough recognition, I'm going to be very angry. My false pride has just been hurt. So we need to transcend the three modes. We need to get into the mode of pure goodness. In the mode of pure goodness, I do and I think for Krishna's pleasure. Why? Because I love him and he loves me. I want to do something that'll make him happy. Someone may say, oh, but he's God. He doesn't need your help. We're beyond the God thing, okay? He's my dearmost friend. What's the difference between him and me? He's all powerful. I'm not all powerful, but I am a part and a parcel. I'm a piece of this supreme entity. I have all the attributes that he has, just not as much. He has muscles. I have muscles. His muscles are much bigger. You see? So, yeah, I want to do what my beloved wants me to do. Now, what happens in a perfect world, and the spiritual world is a perfect world, in a perfect world, when you want to do only what your beloved wants, how does your beloved react to that? Why, they're thinking, but I only want what you want. Isn't that the way love works? It's supposed to work that way, isn't it? I want to do for you. Oh, but I want to do for you. Well, what would you like to eat tonight? I was thinking that we would do what you want to do. So it's kind of annoying, but it's love can be annoying, right? It's much better than hate or indifference. I don't care what you want to eat. Yeah.
Not the love annoying thing, but it reminded me of another lecture where I heard where someone was explaining that Krishna loves us so much that if we really, really don't want to believe in him, he will create something, a situation to help us and be like, oh, this is what you want, okay. Like giving us what it is that we want, even though he knows it's like, I don't think it's the best, but this is what you want and I want to make you happy.
Yeah. I mean, you're the one, we're the ones who started this thing. We wanted something better than to be with him. Because we're like spoiled brats, you know. We always, for eternity, we got everything we wanted. And of course, we're having this loving exchange, but then we start to think, hey, how come you're always the center of attention, Krishna? Well, I'd like to be the center of attention. Maybe I'd like to have things my way. just my way. I don't want to reciprocate your love. I want to be able to have people love me and I reciprocate some of their love, but not all of it. See? So therefore we leave and we come to this material world, which is full of that kind of action. How many people have you ever met that feel like, I'm trying to love this person or that person and just not getting it back? See? One psychologist friend of mine that I knew in Dallas years ago told me that if you meet somebody that says, I've got so much love to give, that you should run. Danger. Well, then why don't you give it? Right? That's what you're good at. That's what you, the living entity, is what you're best at. You are part of God, and you're empowered to love on a supreme level, not a material level. It's not a real love, shouldn't be, I'll do for you as you do for me. I'll scratch your back if you scratch mine. Let me enjoy your body and you can enjoy mine. That's just business. Not love, but that's what we call it in the material world. We label that love, and then we have our hopes that we're going to get this loving prize. And then we're disappointed. Doesn't come through. Why? Because you want the kind of love that Krishna gives. You want that. And you're going to be disappointed. You've tasted that love. You've tasted supreme love. And you want it again. Whether you realize it or not, that's all you want. And you want to love all living entities. And because that's what satisfies you, you're not concerned ever about being loved back. The privilege to love. Krishna is the supreme lover. You've been overloved for eternity. So when you get into the right frame of mind, you know that you're absolutely loved. So I'm okay. I want to do what I do best. I'm going to give love to all living entities. Not just to human beings, not just to those who are going to vote for my candidate. All living entities. It's fun to love. Yeah, let me be holy.
Thank you, Guru Dev. How do we not care about what is or isn't going to happen in the world, the future of the world? Do we not get caught up in that?
We can care, but how do I stop a tsunami? The world is full of people who are chasing gratification, and some of them see me as an impediment. You see, how many times have people? It's just like I read something on the internet today that somebody who owns a $4 million house in North Carolina, but I don't know where in North Carolina, they found out that someone had taken their property and had it deeded to them. It's a beautiful, beautiful place up in the mountains, nice acreage, gorgeous house. The guy finds out that somebody went to the courthouse and had it deeded to him, and he has to leave. And the county says, we can't help you. This was done legally. Somebody saw the house, they wanted the house, and they figured out how to do it. Maybe there was a bribe or who knows. So if you get something really nice, if you get, what would you think? What's your first reaction if somebody gave you, it was a big shopping bag full of $100 bills?
Too good to be true.
Huh? Sounds good.
Yeah.
But now I'm worried. Can I make it to the bank? Because, I can't let anybody know what this is. You can't go walking down the street in a clear plastic bag and people's, that guy's got a bag of $100 bills. It's really that kind of world. So, what can we do? What is it for us to do to make this world better for people when they're having to deal with disease, old age, death? How do I make that better for you? I give you knowledge to where this is your last death. When you leave this body, we give you the knowledge to where you return home, never to be reborn. And that's the biggest help that I can give a soul, a living entity. As far as helping your body, I can give you medicine, I can give you this, I can help you with your diet, I can teach you yoga to make you feel better. But I can't prevent disease. I can't prevent old age, and I can't prevent your death. But I can prevent your next birth. Because if you take birth again, you're going to have to die with old age and disease sandwiched in between. Of that, we can help people out of love. Can I make this a better world? No. Can all of us working together, if we put all of our energy together, can we make this a better world? Can we stop Asheville from being washed off the mountain? No. We can't affect those threefold miseries, except to help people become immune to them. Make them so happy, so peaceful, in love, that they know there's problems out there. That's okay. Soon I'll leave this place. I'm not in a hurry to leave, but soon, at some point I'll leave. I don't have to do this anymore. I'm walking out of the prison door. As a matter of fact, you can walk out the prison door, but still stay in this body until it's finished. You can leave. You don't have to, but you have a change of heart in the way you see. You redefine reality and you recognize illusion. And if you do that, and only if you do that, can you be happy. Really happy. Consistently happy. And you can help others be happy with this knowledge. Otherwise, we're just going to go through life taking what's handed to us. And sometimes we're going to do some really strong activities and we think that, yeah, I got this, but I deserved it because I worked hard for it. This is karma.
Is it okay?
Anything else?
The other day, I was watching an interview, and this devotee was interviewing a musician, a very popular musician. And the interview got really personal, and it got really deep, and it got into like some deeper layers of this particular artist's life. And we got into the discussion of like how do you communicate with God? And he was like, like right now I speak to God, I speak to God, and I know that I should be. And then he proceeded to describe how he would speak to God. And the devotee, he's like, that's beautiful, that's beautiful, that's okay. He's like, no, you don't understand, this is God, so I have to. There's a way that I should be approaching God. I should approach God in this way. And the devotee's like, no, but it's beautiful though. And he's like, no, you don't understand. You see, I'm supposed to first, I have to approach him this way, and I have to say this, and then I have to say this, and I have to do it in this order. Because that's the appropriate way to approach God. And tonight you said something that was kind of shocking if you're here for the first time, which was informality. You mentioned informality and how we would approach God. And someone who's never heard of Krishna consciousness, it's quite shocking. In fact, most people, it's kind of shocking.
It's kind of an out there statement.
Yeah. Like some people might take it, might be like, yeah, this is kind of like, they don't know what they're talking about. And this is God we're talking about.
Yeah.
We're supposed to approach God with awe and reverence.
You better grovel.
Right. So I was thinking about this when I was watching the interview, and I'm like, wow, this is like the condition of the world. Like most people don't really understand what it means to get up close and personal with God in such a way where you stop seeing him as God.
Therefore, so many people, they want to put on the brakes before they get close to that personality. Right? I don't have to grovel to the universe. If I see the ultimate power as the universe, then I don't have to, there's no awe and reverence needed. I'm just talking to a bunch of big rocks out there. Put it out to the universe. You know? So I don't have to grovel. I don't have to be, there's no awe and reverence. I just tell it what I want. I put it out there. Right? Because we all know that God's main purpose is to supply my desires. Isn't it?
Metaphysical Amazon.
That's what a lot, yeah. He's the metaphysical Amazon. And all you have to do is grovel and approach him with awe and reverence. And like the musician was saying, it's proper procedure. And then you want stardom or talent or whatever it is. And so God will say, sure, here you go.
It just shows how disconnected we are.
Of course.
We think that, this is what appeases God. Like we think that this is what God wants. Like, our conception of God is like this.
And you know what? As long as you grovel and you ask, give me daily bread, give me this, give me, he's going to give you. He's going to give you. And this can go on for eternity. I need this, I need that. Gee whiz, I need a better mate. I need a better job. It may not happen tomorrow, but he'll send you Tony Robbins, and Tony Robbins will teach you how to get it. You know? So, or we can stop considering the Supreme as our order supplier, which he'll do. If you want to not think of God, just think of whatever, some power out there will give me this. Or maybe you can even say it's God, but there's no face, there's no personality. It's just and I pray, give me daily bread, give me, protect me. And don't tempt me. Lead me not into temptation. Don't tempt me. Come on, just see how low we sink. Don't tempt me. What about saying, give me the strength to withstand temptation? What is that strength? By me falling in love with you, Krishna, I'm not going to want anything else. Therein lies a big problem, because I don't want anything to take away all of these desires that I have, all of the hopes that I have. What if you could look at the world and say, you know what, world? I don't care. I don't care what you give me. I am unattached. This is called renunciation. I don't want anything you have because I have Krishna. Krishna is the source of everything. If I have the source, I can have anything I want. But you know what? I don't want anything from him. I want him to help me, to empower me to be a better lover. For him, a better friend, and for you, for everyone, all living entities. This is real happiness.
Good night, every day. I'm gonna pick up.
Hey,
For
good night. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thanks for coming.
Yeah, thanks for being here. Cool.
Does that make any sense? In other words, let me ask you a question. Is lust a bad thing? Huh? Why? Huh? Depends. It's like a gun. A gun's not a bad thing. Depends on where you shoot it, where you point it. When I turn lust towards my desires, look out. I'm ready to do whatever is necessary. I might even tell a little white lie. A lie's a lie. I may cheat. I may mislead to get the satisfaction of my lust. And it's okay. That's the way the world works, right? But when I turn my lust into satisfying my dearmost friend, Krishna, he will empower me to serve him and to satisfy him. He's the source. I want to do something wonderful for you, Krishna. Krishna says, we're going to need some resources. I'm going to have to give you something. So lust to serve God is really sweet. Lust to serve the other living entities is really sweet. It's the Sanskrit word is lalyan. It's the real lust, lust of the soul, the lust to love and to make everyone around you happy. It's not, let's see, how does this go? It's not important how much people make you happy that counts. But the value of your life is how many people were happy because you existed. Now, it's kind of hard for a materialist to swallow that, because that doesn't make any sense. But that's the definition of spiritual character. I am simply here to give you pleasure. Because I'm part and parcel of Krishna, and he just wants to give you pleasure. One of his names is Govinda, the giver of pleasure, the source of pleasure. And it gives him tremendous happiness to cause you ecstasy. Have you ever done something? Surely you've done something that's made somebody so happy that they cry, tears of joy, and they look at you like, wow, you have just redefined your personality. I didn't know that you or anybody else could be this wonderful. I'm so thankful. You're not asking for anything in return. You just want to do that for my benefit. See? That's a big pleasure. That's a lot more. It's billions of times more pleasure than you get than someone trying to make you happy. You should already be happy. Prabhupada says, chant and be happy. Chant this Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama. Follow this process of bhakti yoga. Become happy. Happy people make other people happy. People that are in distress put other people into distress. This isn't double talk, this is real. Wouldn't you like to be the kind of person that when somebody just mentions your name, they think, oh yeah, what a nice person. Why, they're so selfless. They're so selfless, I don't know if I trust them. Because they're odd, they're weird. It's good to be weird. Okay, anything else?
I was just gonna ask if you wanted me to stop the recording so you can.
Yeah. I thought you'd never ask. See, she's looking out for my benefit. Hare Krishna.